C++ has a big focus this release on quality and on interop with Delphi. As in the past couple of releases, we've focused a lot on Windows exception handling, both 32 and 64-bit, and it's looking great. Some really complex testing scenarios are working well, and one very complex library we test against that uses multiple modules and some unusual behavior is now working very well. If your code or libraries use exception handling, this is of great benefit to you. We've also improved CMake support with more revision and improvements to its functionality, useful if you use open source projects. One area that Clang was weak in was runtime type information, or RTTI. Our C++ compilers generate Delphi-style RTTI for Delphi-style types implemented in C++, like a component or any class inheriting from T-object. And in this release, we've completely overhauled how Clang does this, to make sure it matches what Delphi itself produces. Not only is this useful in general, but the IDE uses the Delphi RTTI for generating and connecting event handlers. This means you can now build your C++ components using Clang and use those in the IDE. Now that was Delphi-style RTTI. We now also generate C++-style RTTI for all Delphi types in the Delphi compiler, meaning all C++ code accessing C++ RTTI will now work regardless of type, and that includes using type ID. This means code using either C++ or Delphi RTTI will find the data it expects, and you can take advantage of the joined Delphi C++ ecosystem in ways that you could when using the classic compiler, but now using Clang. In addition, we've also improved general Delphi C++ interop. For example, C++ code often uses string view for lightweight access into strings, and now you can get a string view into a Delphi string, letting you use a Delphi string directly with C++ libraries that use string views. Also, C++ code tends to use C++ strings, yet UI code like VCL event handlers or accessing control properties like a caption use Delphi strings. And in the past, these two string types had to be manually converted using some ugly code like accessing cstr. In other words, it used to be difficult to mix. Now you can directly assign and convert between C++ and Delphi strings. The combination of these, both string view and string assignment or conversion, means that mixing Delphi and C++ string types is seamless, both in your own code and using existing C++ libraries, which is much easier coding for you and opens up more possibilities for taking advantage of C++ algorithms and third-party libraries. Finally, we have conversion methods to convert to and from strings and inbuilt core Delphi types like currency, tDateTime, and variant, as well as basic types like integers and floating point. This is something the classic compiler let you do, and these new methods, which are C++ish in design, let you do the same thing easily with the Clang compiler. Overall, a big revision supporting Delphi and C++ fundamentals, with great exception handling, and a focus on quality of life when interoperating between Delphi and C++ from your C++ code. Things that you may have relied on Classic to achieve in the past now work with Clang, and you have easier coding and seamless interop between key Delphi and C++ types in a C++-ish way that C++ developers will find natural and familiar to use.